Welcome, my name is Tashara and this is StarMade. It's been quite a while since my last video, so I basically took January off from building and recording videos just to recharge my batteries a bit. It took a bit longer to recharge because I got my hands on a new game, Dyson Sphere program. Got quite addicted to that one. It's basically a factory building game in space or on planets, basically in a solar system. And you never get it, you have to build a Dyson Sphere. But yeah, it's usually a hit or miss with those type of games for me. For example, this is very similar to Factorio. But I never got into Factorio all that much, but I do like this one. So I've been playing that quite a bit as well. But it's back to StarMade for me, the first video for this year. And we're going to have to go with a new project because we finished the big trading ship last year. So now we have to create a new project to get our building done this year. And it's going to be this one. This is not much. This is a space station, by the way. It's not a ship. So that's going to be different. We're going to build a space station, a big one, because I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, and I still have my fleets I wanted to update and rebuild, but I don't have a place to do it. I don't have a home to build my fleets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a actual home starbase, basically that's at least big enough to accomplish building the tier 1 ships within a ship factory. So there's a couple of things we need on this space station, and I prepped some examples here, because there's 3 main components that we need. We need lots of storage, so that's what this storage block represents, because building within StarMade is, in survival at least, easier if you just have a crap ton of storage space and then link some sort of system to it. So the next thing we need is, of course, a shipyard to build our ships, logically. And I'm trying to decide what type of shipyard I will, if I going to add multiple shipyards or just one big one. But that's something I have to figure out in the design phase a bit. And of course we need plenty of space to store spaceships, so docking ports. So that's what this blue thing is going to represent, a spaceship. I created a layout of an idea I had. So basically these rectangular squares are docking bays. So if I arrange them in a circle like this, I've got quite a lot of those. So basically on the 90-degree axis and on the 45-degree axis, docked a entity in the middle to get these 45 degrees in. And I'm trying to figure out if this is big enough or if this is the shape of the station I want for this project. I didn't really go with a small model this time. I just started building. It's not perhaps the best idea to do it, because especially when a big project, it's very hard, of course, to move things around. So yeah, we'll see if this turns out the way I think it will. Since I need to do some planning before I start building in detail, I did some framing to see how big I want these docking bays to be, because I want them at least big enough to house the smaller tier 1 ships. So basically all the tier 1 ships except for the frigate. That's going to be somewhere else. So yeah, I tried to go for a different type of shape for the entrance of this docking bay, see if this can work for me, and at least be big enough to fly the ships through, at least comfortably. But yeah, it's still a bit of the experimental phase I'm in, just blocking things out and see if things can be different. For example, the idea was to have smaller external docking platforms here on the angle instead of internal ones like I had blocked out first, so to see if I can get some variation in here. The next iteration of this this entrance for this docking bay is this version. So I went back to a rectangular opening, but tried this this sloped shape in the sticky out bits over here, and I'm trying to work out if I can get some interesting angles going with slabs. So get an angle like this, and then also outward facing like this. But I'm not sure if that's going to work or if it's going to look good with all those slabs. Because that's normally not my build style, but I was trying to to do something new for me at least, because I don't work with slabs all that much, at least not not to get the main shapes going. Usually I use them as an accent or some small shaping I'm going to do for a ship or a station in this case. But yeah, I quite like the opening how it is now, but I'm not sure about the sticky outfits. I scrapped the shape I had before and went back to the drawing board, and this is basically why you don't want to build on a large scale without having a good idea what you want to do, because it's going to be a lot of back and forth trying to get the shape you want. A bit more work than if you would build it in a model. So that's on me, of course. I did it this way, but I wouldn't recommend it. I did do some blocking for the internals of this this hangar bay, trying to see how long it's going to be, how big the internal volume is going to be, and getting some interesting shapes going in the floors and ceilings and the walls. No, the floor is not all that interesting yet, but we're going to get there. So just experimenting with shapes. And the top part, as you can see here, I try to go for a layered approach. So we've got this gray armor paneling, and then this darker gray that's a bit higher. That's going to go on top of it for the most part. So that's going to be the outer layer of the station. And basically trying to think of a different shape I want for these sticky out bits instead of the sloped ones I had before, because it didn't really work out for me with those slabs. A lot more work is done on the interior right now, so I've got a lot of interesting shapes going on here and a lot of detail on all the main surfaces of this this area. So we've got all the beams and cross beams in the ceiling with the lights hanging over there, some interesting armor paneling in the walls over here, and this middle section we've got these holes at the bottom over here. So these are entrances to this docking area for cargo on and offloading. At least that's the idea. And of course we've got the landing pad itself with the docking point here in the middle. And as you can see here, this is a 3/4 height. So I've got some steps over here to get on top of this landing pad. This is mainly because I've got a couple of ships that have quarter slab on the bottom of the ship. So if it lands and you extend, for example, the landing legs, it can still be docked here and still extend those landing legs. So that's the best key to get ahead of that one. And get the space correctly spaced. So still no difference for the entrance itself, still have to work that out, but I wanted to have a feeling for the space available within the docking area first, get that all detailed out, then move on to actually getting the exterior done for this one. I think this is more my style for these sticky out bits. Basically, they are guard plates for guarding the entrance of the docking area. So getting a bit of a shelter for the doors that I'm going to put in here. I did copy over the docking base to the other positions as well, because yeah, let's face it, I'm not going to build it twice or 4 times in this case. So it's just a copy of this bay to the other positions of my space station. It's basically exactly the same. The only thing that changed was basically cut off the back wall over here, getting it all cleaned up with this stair over here. So we're probably going to have a big door that's going to lead into the rest of the station on this end. That's the idea, at least. But overall, all the docking bays are going to be the same, at least these type of docking bays that the station has. I'm trying to work out what I want to do with the back wall of this docking area. Like I said, I wanted the big door here in the middle. Then I have some space on the side here. I'm probably going to change to grating to have some pipes below it that you can see. I've got these tanks on the wall over here. What they contain, I don't know, but it looks interesting and adds a bit of color to the interior. And on the top over here, I've got this observation area or docking coronation, whatever room, not sure what. So I still need to detail that out, but that's basically going to let you watch everything that's going on here. And on the back here, you can see that I marked out my patented 5-space floor, then basically the ceiling space between, then the floor of the next floor. Yeah, that's correct. So I get everything lined up correctly. But yeah, this is not the final configuration for this yet. I think I still need to fiddle around with it a bit more before I'm happy with all the detailing. And then if I'm happy, I'm going to copy it to the other docking spaces as well, because I haven't done that yet. This is just the first copy I did to get everything into correct position before I finalize them the way I did with this one. As you can see here, things are starting to be a bit dangerous, because I'm changing my mind how I want the station to be. Because as you can see here, the configuration of these docking bays are now completely different. Yeah, I started to doubt myself if I wanted to go for this this circular design, because I did that before with my contest station. But yeah, I'm not sure if I wanted to go with a similar design in this home station I'm trying to build. So I'm experimenting, and that's not a good thing on a full-scale build like this. I also made some changes to the front of this entrance. As you can see here, I changed the light, so you know now what's up and down. And I did some additional detailing on the back wall of this thing. Got a catwalk going here now, so you can basically walk from this control area all the way to the side, and then watch everything going on. Haven't changed this one yet, but I'm going to. So as you can see, I also added a copy of a door on top of here. The idea is to have this armor layer, this dark gray armor layer, all the way to the back, and then on top of that add another external docking platform, so you can land the ship on top of that, but it's not enclosed, so it's just in open space. You have to go inside the space station wearing the spacesuit. Basically, I got the idea from one of the station designs that they have in Star Citizen. They have these external space docking platforms as well on some space stations. So I'm going to add that to my home station as well, because why not? I can do everything I want here. So yeah, that's the fun thing about designing your own station. So I'm probably going to change my mind again how I want to configure this. So it's going to be a lot of work to fix this. What I finally decided on was this. Have 2 of these large docking bays on each side. That basically the space in the middle that I designated as this big circle here is going to be open space. Basically, I'm going to create a U-shape, floating U-shape basically, And then in the middle over here, I'm going to add a big shipyard. That's the idea, at least. I can also add shipyards within these docking bays themselves, because I've got enough space outside these walls. So if I add one of those U shapes, as you can see here, plenty of space on top of of a shipyard, and I can build ships in here as well. That's the idea, at least. Also added in this water shield and started working on the spot where I want my doors to be to enclose this docking bay. So I've got 4 spots on top now as well for docking. Those are smaller docking pads than the ones internally, but you could add a fighter here, or a small cargo vessel, things like that. Then exit through the door in the rest of the station over here. Still need to do some detailing on the sides over here to give it a bit more life, because it's a bit bare now at the moment. But I did finish the armor paneling on top. As you can see here, I started adding in a lot more detail. So armor plating on top of armor plating. That's how I usually do my detailing, to get things looking a bit more interesting. Adding some technical details here and there, some antennas, things like that. So there's a reason to go down here to do maintenance or something like that. But yeah, it's starting to look like something I can work with. Also designed these doors over here. Only got the one set at the moment, because I haven't added them to the rest of the docking bays yet. Not sure if I want to keep the button over here, but for now it will do. Then they can open up like this. So now you can see why I've got these guard sticky out bits in here now, because they basically protect the opening and closing of this door. And as you can see, there's still plenty of space to move through the blast shield over here, or the force field, water force field, and then go into the docking bay. There's temporary logic over here. It's going to be moved somewhere else, but I'm not sure where yet. Did some detailing for this part now, so it looks a bit more finished. But that's about it. Yeah, I've got some additional work for me, because I still need to, like I said, add these doors to all the other docking bays. But then I think this big docking bay is more or less done, so I can move on to other aspects of the station to get the U shape I want in a bit more, to get you a better view of what this station is going to look like when it's done. Added some of the armor shapes I want to the top of this this station, and I'm trying to figure out how to connect everything in the middle over here and this part over here, if I want something in between, or if this should be separate elements, these docking bays. Yeah, just trying to figure out what I have available for space and shapes I want to make. But I think that's enough for at least giving you an idea where I want to go with this space station and how big it's going to be, because this is not all the space I'm going to create. Like I said, I need this U shape over here, and then I'm going to continue with smaller modules pointing that way, so it's basically going to be smaller, sort of a V shape. I'm going to extend the length of the shipyard that way as well. So they can build pretty big tier 1 ships in the middle here, I think. But I hope you enjoyed the starting of this new project. So look forward to more progress on this one, and I'll see you next time.